out to Socrates. Socrates still trying to get the opening. Oh, Socrates! Whoa!
And there it is. The crazy gang have beaten the Culture Club.
Maggie Thatcher, can you hear me? Maggie Thatcher, your boys took the hell of a beating. Your boys took the hell of a beating.
Welcome to 1979-80 Revisited, subsection module 1.19, paragraph C, from the lexicon of Your Boys Took a Hell of a Beating. We're continuing with our roll through of the FA Cup fourth round weekend. And for this one, Dave, we've got Tottenham Hotspur and a tricky trip to Swindon Town, who have been, serial cup giant killers in both of the cups. They're the League Cup semi-finalists, Dave. They've knocked Arsenal out of the League Cup. There's a chance here to do a North London double.
Exactly the kind of draw that you don't want if you're a First Division team. And when you sit down in front of the radio at 12:30 on the Monday dinner time, you don't want to be coming out away at Swindon. But particularly for Spurs, who, again, the league season's broadly speaking over. Everything now is in the depending on the FA Cup. It's now or never, and you don't want to go to Swindon. I mean, particularly, it's a little bit different now. I mean, even in the lower divisions, so many of the grounds are new grounds, or they've been redeveloped or whatever, and it doesn't quite have that same bear pit feeling. But I mean, back in 1979 and 1980, you don't want to be going down to Swindon. Definitely not. No,
you don't want to be going to the county ground. Hugh Johns is on commentary duties for this one, Dave.
Excellent.
ATV have loosely claimed Swindon Town as being part of the part of the world, Dave. Geographically speaking, it's a bit of a stretch, isn't it?
Just a bit, yeah. Obviously, no other options at this point in the FA Cup, but they've picked a good one.
They have picked a good one. They really, really have. Our referee today is Clive Thomas from Porthcawl.
Oh dear.
So it's fun and games are ahead, Dave. The Swindon side: Allen, Lewis, Stroud, McHale, Tucker, Carter, Miller, certain Chris Kamara, Rowland, Mays, and Williams. Andy Rowland and Alan Mays are scoring goals aplenty for Swindon Town in this particular season. Mays is going into this game, he's on 23 goals. He's the top scorer across all of the four divisions. And Rowland is only 2 behind him on 21. Between them, over the span of 2 seasons, they've scored 64 in 58 matches. This is a prolific partnership, Dave.
Another reason why Keith Burkinshaw's heart would have sunk when the draw came out. I mean, it's exactly what you don't need. It's a lower division team. It's going pretty well, full of confidence, and they've got blokes who can score goals. That is a recipe for disaster. Quite often you'll come up against lower division teams who are well organised and all of that, but they're based on we don't concede. And if you've got Glenn Hoddle in your team and Ozzy Ardiles and whatnot, you think you're going to be able to open that up. But if people are scoring goals, there's always a chance of something going horribly wrong.
There really is. There really, really is. The Tottenham side: Daines, Houghton, Miller, Paul Miller, Terry Orif, Perriman, Ardiles, Jones, Jerry Armstrong, Hoddle, Villa. They've got a Pratt on the bench. Everyone seems to have on the bench around about this point in time. Strong as you get for Tottenham. There is no McAllister. He's suspended for Tottenham. And in has come Terry Daly. It's his first start in 9 months, Dave. So you've got kind of like this rampant, third division pairing in Rowland and Mays, and you've got a man in defence there who he's not played for 9 months. This is another great potential for this tie, Dave.
Absolutely, another reason for being kept awake at night on the Friday, worrying about what's going to happen on Saturday afternoon, and as we spoke in the previous one about the Forest Liverpool game, on pitches that have had a proper pounding from the winter weather by now, and not at their best, shall we say. It's not a surface for artists necessarily like Glenn Hoddle to show their stuff.
No, you've got your work cut out. There will be moments of sublime beauty, but to do it on this pitch is just unreal. You do have to be something of a genius to do that. There isn't a huge amount of footage to the first half of this game, Dave.
No.
Most of it comes in the second half. There is early Swindon pressure. Rowland at the near post flicks from a corner. It's clutched by Danes. And then there's Hoddle with this beautiful left foot chipped effort from distance. It forces Jimmy Allen into an excellent save. A busy but uneventful first half, I have underlined there.
Yeah, I think the best bit of the first half, from a watching perspective, is looking at the ground. Again, it's typical FA Cup type stuff. The ground is absolutely rammed solid. I mean, it's so full that they've let the kids onto the running track beyond the one goal. They're standing behind a wall of coppers, so I've got no idea what it is that they're seeing of the game, really. But and then there's the famous uncovered end at Swindon where you used to get absolutely soaked, and there's this huge clock behind it, and there's fans perched on the top of that to get some sort of vantage point. They don't look. Health and safety would be having a fit. No, you're not getting up there. No,
they really would. It is great. Yeah, some of the. I think we'd have to call it landscape watching. Is what we're doing here. But the pylon and the people just having scaled up for a better view is just magnificent. I mean, this being late January as well, there will not be. Yeah, it won't be a dry climbing frame for that to get up there, Dave.
No, not the safest thing. I mean, as we're recording, this has been all that fuss about that fella climbing up skyscrapers on Netflix over the weekend. It's nothing compared to climbing up the clock at the county ground.
Absolutely, totally agree. Into the second half, there's a fine Tottenham move early on. Ardiles, Hoddle, Armstrong, but the header goes wide. It's an interesting afternoon that, and we'll go into this further. Spoiler alert, but they will have to play this game again at White Hart Lane. Jerry Armstrong has a mixed bag of a couple of games in this one.
He does, yeah. I mean, he's put through by Glenn Hoddle early on in the second half. Can't get it on target, tight angle, but doesn't get on target. Then a few moments later, I mean, it's a really good run actually, driving run down the right 30 yards, I should say. And there's a cross shot from a tight angle. It's a good effort actually.
It is.
The goalkeeper makes a great save, which Clive Thomas immediately overrules the linesman to give a goal kick. I mean, Clive Thomas, what can we say?
Clive Thomas corner. or not, as the case may be on the screen.
I mean, it's classic Clive Thomas. Everybody else in the ground thinks it's something else, but no, Clive Thomas decides that it's got to be a goal kick.
The Tottenham fans chip in with, can we have a referee?
You can't argue.
You can't argue with the logic. Carter cuts out a threat of Jones after a measured through ball by Ardiles. You do see the vision here and there in this. There's just kind of like great little kind of like moments of this is utterly stodgy. This is a spotted dick of a game, and then it's kind of like there's this just magnificent nugget of skill there. You think, oh, just a beautiful thing. Ardiles and Hoddle are just the magicians behind everything in Tottenham colours, at least in this game.
Yeah, I mean, there's one moment where Glenn Hoddle sort of dances into the box and then can't get enough on the cross. Ardiles finds a great pass that puts Jones through, and there's a brilliant tackle from Carter actually to stop it. I mean, that's where it's going to come from. It's going to come from Hoddle or Ardiles somehow magicking something up, but it's such again, the FA Cup. Swindon are giving absolutely everything. They're chasing for every ball. They're making every tackle, all that kind of stuff. The crowd's going berserk for them. At one point, Hugh Johns, the excitement is intense, and we've got a fire going. So she was as a pool of black smoke billowing out over the back of the stand. I don't know where the hell that's come from.
There is. It is. I think it's deemed to be just outside the ground, this even puts kind of like those who have kind of like shivved themselves up up into the pylon. They're caught within clouds of smoke, which kind of like puts added jeopardy. It's slowly turning into a potential episode of casualty.
Yeah.
Having looked down the always well worth kind of when you go to YouTube for these things to just have a quick scan through the comments section, because you will often find a kind of like, I was at that game and this though. And there's usually or occasionally a great piece of insight. YouTuber at Chubbates MH5XP, Dave, I noted, made a suggestion that Spurs fans had set fire to a programme kiosk. I don't know how true this is. I'm just being the facilitator of the comments section of this particular footage on YouTube, but I think that needs further investigation.
Just trying to keep warm, presumably.
Just trying to keep warm. Absolutely, yeah. Paul Miller over the crossbar with a near open goal, 5 yards out, Dave. It's the best chance of the game so far. Plenty of Tottenham pressure during the second half. Swindon are starting to get a little bit stretched, but this is a glaring miss from Paul Miller.
Yeah, I mean, that's the moment, isn't it? You know, open goal, 5 yards out, and somehow he manages to spoon it into the crowd. And at that point, you must be starting to think, as a Spurs player, oh dear, this isn't going to go our way. Because I mean, that's the moment. I mean, he could have that another 100 times and score every time, but no, not that time.
Yeah, he's shinned it over, really, hasn't it? It's kind of one of these where it's kind of the wrong player to come to of all the players, and then it's hit him and gone over. Yorov shoots straight at Allen at the end of a fine team move, and Swindon's best efforts are all on the counter attack. Although Danes is never truly tested. You've got Williams causing consternation on the left wing. Naylor's getting himself booked. As the game goes on, it's clear that Naylor's starting to tire. 9 first team game. That kind of tells towards the end of this one, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. And Swindon just keep going and going and going. To be fair to them, I mean, they look every bit as fit as Tottenham towards the end, but it's a question of quality, isn't it? They haven't quite got the quality to break Spurs down. And again, there's another opportunity for Tottenham towards the end. I mean, Chris Jones gets into the box, and I think we can honestly say he takes a bit of a dive. I mean, I don't think there's any form of contact. But one of those Swindon urchins on the running track shouted him quite clearly a word beginning with C and ending with C. Now, let's be charitable and say it was cheat, but probably wasn't.
I think there's one too many letters in there, and a few wrong ones, a couple of wrong ones as well there, in between the C and the T. But again, another piece of absolute 1979-80 gold. Armstrong gets in a shot from distance that goes wide. Pratt's on for Villa. Yeah, there's, like I say, continued flashes of brilliance from Hoddle here and there. Jones puts one across the face of goal that goes wide. For Swindon, Stroud hits one from distance that's tipped wide by Danes. This is Danes kind of like stretched. Is probably the one moment that he gets a bead of sweat down his forehead, Dave.
Ultimately, and again, you kind of forget this now because obviously so much has changed, but getting that replay probably for Swindon was as good as winning the game, really, because you got a White Hart Lane on the Tuesday night, the Wednesday night, whatever it is, big crowd, get to play in a big stadium, get a load of money. It keeps you going for another few months. That was as much a part of it for a lower division club as getting through, really. So Swindon have done themselves great credit. They played really well and they've deserved their draw and they finished that. And again, classic FA Cup stuff.
It absolutely is. And if anything, it's Swindon that are pushing for the late winner towards the very tail end. The game ends in a goal straw, but despite the lack of goals, there's been plenty to keep the attention for this one, Dave.
Oh yeah, I mean it's one of those where you are looking forward to the replay because it's been properly competitive. Swindon have been in there. They've asked one or two questions, and although you would then expect Spurs to go on and win it at home, there's still that bit of uncertainty about the game. Yes,
there is indeed. There's police on the pitch at the end of the game, clearly expecting pitch battle to break out. They're armed with dogs, Dave. This is police rushing onto the pitch with dogs. Back to the comments section below the footage for this, Dave, on YouTube. At Claydon Lee, he offered the comment that the police dogs at the end are dead now. There's a comment made in February 2025.
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. A whole 45 years having passed between those dogs getting onto the pitch and the comment on YouTube by Claydon Lee. Yes, the police dogs are now dead.
Let's have a moment of silence for the.
We have a moment of silence for the Lost Police Dogs. Moving on to our next game, Dave. We've got time to fit in Bolton Wanderers versus Halifax Town. Halifax Town having beaten Manchester City with the help of Romark in the previous round.
One of the most glorious games of football of all time at the Shea. Absolutely.
Again, another that had everything. Holes in the roof of the stand and all sorts of stuff. It had just pure magic. YTV have sent their cameras to Burnden Park for this one. Again, geographically speaking, it's questionable. But Granada have clearly got somewhere else to send their cameras, and they've said if you want to have that game, you have it. Halifax, can say conquerors of Manchester City in the third round. They've got an 18-year-old Malcolm Goodman in the side for this one. He's in for the suspended Dave Harris. Peter Burke suspended for the win over Malcolm Allison's Romark haunted side. Amongst my notes there, Bob Mountford seems to be dropping down to the bench as well. A 19-year-old Mike Carter. What's interesting about this footage? He's in for Alan Gowling, by the way, who actually, in part of Martin Tyler's preamble, he states that Alan Gowling asked to be dropped, but then does not give us the context behind this at all, Dave.
I made a note of that. I mean, why on earth would you ask to be dropped at all? For a start, particularly in that era when you might not get back in the team, and then there's your appearance money gone down the tubes. And even if you're not playing very well, you're playing Halifax at home in the cup. As a striker, that's a good chance to get 3 or 4 goals. You'd think and get yourself going, but nope, very weird.
It is a strange one. Dave Clements fails a fitness test. Len Cantello is out. The transfer listed Neil McNabb is brought back in. David Burke is recalled at left back, with Peter Nicholson switching to right back. Peter Nicholson had been dropped, told he'd been dropped kind of like 48, 24 hours before. Got up on the ball in the game, saying, no, actually you're playing. Find your boots. There's 5 minutes of footage of this one, Dave. And also almost half of it is handed over to Martin Tyler's preamble, which might give you an indication that there wasn't much that went on of Pute.
It is an extraordinary 5 minutes. I mean, it's landscape watching stuff. We cut to the Bolton dugout where there's Ian Greaves and Stan Anderson, and they're smoking enough to give Minotti an inferiority complex. I mean, it's like pools of smoke coming up out of that dugout, which is fascinating stuff compared to, my God, could you imagine somebody doing that today, trying to light up in the... Again, boring you with my time at West Brom. Roberto Di Matteo, he was fond of a gasper, and it used to drive him mad. He couldn't smoke during the game. So at the end of a game, it was the press officer's job to go and find him a corner of the stadium where he could have a quick drag before he went and did all the press conferences. So, I mean, if he'd been watching this, he'd be in his element, wouldn't he? And then you got the Halifax gaffer, George Kirby, who's standing there in the rain, in his raincoat with the collar turned up. He's auditioning for a role as a hard-bitten yet sensitive DCI in an ITV police drama. It's glorious.
He definitely makes the image of kind of like a rival to Shoestring or something like that. Someone who's just kind of like going to be his nemesis or something. There's a great Burke on Burke foul, Dave, within the opening seconds of the footage we've got there. It's the offended against is David Burke of Bolton. He's to add insult to injury. He also has the ball belted at him while he's down on the ground.
He does, yes. It's a glorious madcap FA Cup type action. And again, we come back to the conditions. I mean, Martin Tyler tells us one goalmouth is frostbitten. So the toss was conducted before the game so that they could choose ends, so that the players could wear the right boots depending on which way they were kicking.
Truly, truly glorious.
Magnificent.
Just absolute spectacular. Football in terms, apart from this one foul, Burke on Burke foul, we get to see the opening goal, Dave. It's smashed home low into the Halifax keeper's left. It's Greaves, player, not manager. It
starts out with Sam Allardyce marauding forward from the back.
It does.
Bolton.
It does indeed.
Finding Nicholson who crosses and nice header back from Neil Watmore to Roy Greaves to drill in from from the edge of the box. Bolton only 2 wins all season, suddenly sent in a third now.
They are sent in a third. The second half footage, all that we could sum up was the second goal in the 89th minute of the game. Neil Watmore, who played a part in the opening goal, he almost trips the ball into the net, Dave. It's Panenka-esque, but accidentally.
He's very sort of apologetic, really, isn't it? That I don't really want to score and make it 2-0, but I suppose I'm going to have to. And there he's 2-0 in I think it's the 89th minute. Sums up the game, sends Bolton through, and then we get the obligatory bit of the players going off, and Sam Allardyce, he will not go off until he's shaking the hand of everybody. Everybody,
absolutely everybody. Bolton fans.
He goes into the crowd and then goes through them.
Yeah, to see everyone off the terraces. Bolton fans are singing Wembley. It is only their third win of the season.
Yes,
but the FA Cup, Dave, it provokes optimism even amongst the most dysfunctional.
The opportunity to dream. That's what the FA Cup is. That's the glory of the FA Cup.
It is. Not for Ian Greaves, though. He's sacked as Bolton manager just a few days later, despite this being the third game, the third win of the season. There is a secondary bit of footage that I managed to unearth as part of this, and it was the YTV studio chatter. And there's a Romark alert, Dave. Fred Dinage, he mentions that the well-known hypnotist Romark, had deserted Halifax, and in the end, the luck deserted them too. There is also a snapshot of a chance that Smith had for Halifax just before the interval that might have made all the difference. A Halifax equaliser just before half-time. That would have had Bolton sweating profusely.
Yeah, that would have been a different game given Bolton's run, but not to be. It's a shame for Halifax, because we could have done with another fifth round tie at the Shay again. That would have been great. That would have been glorious.
A Shay replay would have been truly magnificent. Dave, a magnificent set of games. In many respects, I don't know, almost incident-free in some respects, but it's all about the subtleties or the lack of subtleties in some moments. It's the landscape watching that marks this particular paragraph.
It's the surround, isn't it? I mean, it is. I mean, that is so much 1979-80. It's all the kind of things that you remember, and the bizarreness. I mean, as you say, setting fire to the programme and all that kind of stuff. Managers committing lung cancer to themselves on the touchlines. I mean, it's bizarre stuff, but it's I don't know. It's also antiseptic now, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, that's not criticising the players or whatever, but there's none of that opportunity for bizarre things to happen, and that's such a big point of football, isn't it? That's why I think a lot of people go and watch lower league games or go and watch non-league stuff, because there's the chance for that nonsense to happen, which seems to have been ironed out at the top level, doesn't it?
It is. Nonsense and character has been eradicated from the modern game. Yes, there's definitely, it's the joy of just doing this is seeing all of these magnificent moments, whether that's a piece of Hoddle skill or the arson going on at a programme kiosk at Swindon. Just Invercars. The only thing we've not had in this last is some Invercar spotted.
No, that's true.
There will be one more paragraph to go through. Paragraph D will take us to the replay of the Tottenham Swindon game. Looking forward to it, Dave.
Absolutely.
All that leaves me to do is to say thank you for listening once again. Subscribe, spread the word. Your boys took a hell of a beating. The 1979-80 revisited Charabang will roll on. Thank you and goodbye.